We are hours away from the first college football playoff game. It's in about 2.5 hours, I believe, at this point. It is currently 3:24 p.m. where I am right now. Game starts at 6 for me. I'm in Mountain Time, but we've got an exciting playoff now this year. I am so pumped to see how this playoff goes. There's honestly, in my opinion, going to be some very exciting matchups. I think last year's first round matchups weren't super great. But that 8-9 between Bama Oklahoma, which is tonight, is going to be so exciting to watch. I think I would love to see some of the group of 5 teams do something. We'll have to see how that goes tomorrow, and then obviously another good matchup between Miami and A&M in the morning tomorrow. So before we jump into what my picks are and my bracket, I'm going to be showing you guys what I think is going to happen in this college football playoff. What I believe is going to be the result. I will show you here. But before we get started, as I said, I just want to mention a lot of you still aren't subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten on my last video, which was my mock draft 2.0. Very thankful for all the support. But if you keep coming back to my videos, this is your first video, say you stick along and you enjoy it, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of next year, so that's a long ways away, but we got a long ways to go. But with that being said, let's hop right into it. Looking into the first matchup, we've got Alabama and Oklahoma, our first game of this first round. We've got good matchups, I will say, in this first round. Some exciting ones that could hopefully see an upset. I don't know about it too much. James Madison going to Eugene and Tulane going to Oxford. Would be interesting to see if there could be an upset in those. But we're going to start off with the first game in order. We're going to go in order, which is Alabama and Oklahoma. They played each other before. Alabama lost 21-23 to Oklahoma at home, and now it is in Norman. So it's hard to beat a team twice, may I say. You saw that with Alabama, with Georgia, and this matchup is interesting to me. A lot of people don't like that Alabama made the playoff. The 10-3 Alabama got whooped in the conference championship. They don't like that they made the playoff. They made the cut over a team like Notre Dame. And Oklahoma, 10-2. They've had some good wins. They lost to some losses like Texas, but this is an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting one. The Oklahoma defense is a great defense. It made Ty Simpson struggle. And so with that, I think that's something I look into a little bit more. And Oklahoma's defense, can they continue this? I think so. However, I hate to be like this and be like, oh, well, because it's Alabama. But when I look at Alabama, I just see a very good team still. I think a lot of people think that they're done. Their team isn't the best. It's still Alabama. I like Ty Simpson a lot. I think they've got a way to win this game. However, I just think with the game being in Norman and with that good of a defense, if Oklahoma can really perform, Ty Simpson kind of lost the game for Bama last time. He struggled. He struggled a lot. I don't think he'll struggle as much, but I think Oklahoma's got a little bit healthier. And I think, John Mateer and everything. But when it comes down to this matchup, I think some people are going to hate my decision on this, but I will say that we're going to see an upset, or a road upset. And I'm going to pick Alabama to beat Oklahoma in the first round. I think, as I said, it's hard to beat a team twice. And it's going to be really hard for them to go into Norman and beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma. But they've got the ability to do so. They've got the team to do so, and that's exactly what I think will happen. So it'll be Alabama and Indiana in the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinal. Now, next game is going to be down here at the bottom. It is going to be Miami and Texas A&M. This is another matchup. Honestly, the most exciting matchup, the one I'm most excited for. There you go. Two really good teams. Miami rightfully getting put into the college football playoff. Texas A&M, only one loss on the year to Texas. Both teams beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, obviously missed the playoffs, but both teams' biggest wins are going to arguably be against Notre Dame. I think A&M's a great team. They're getting healthy. I love Marcel Reed, but I think and you're starting to see it out of some of the coaches and some of the polls, Miami is a dangerous team. And people don't understand that Miami is a scary team in this playoff. They are going to cause trouble. They're going to cause havoc. I think they can even give Ohio State a run for their money. So I like both these teams a lot, but what it comes down to is I think Miami did lose two rough unranked teams, Louisville and SMU, but I like Miami in this game. Honestly, they can go out and they can play in any weather. It's going to be in Texas, so that isn't the biggest problem, and in the morning. But I like Miami's playmakers. A&M has their playmakers too, like Casey Concepcion on the ball. But I like Miami. I like Miami more. So I got to pick Miami here. I think I'm going to have another upset, a 7-10 upset. So now with the next game, we're going to go with Tulane, Ole Miss. Now, these two teams played previously in the season where Ole Miss beat the crap out of Tulane. I think this Tulane team has gotten better. They have improved. But I'm interested to see how Ole Miss plays. That's really what I'm looking at. I love Trinidad Chambliss. I love Ole Miss's team, but no Lane Kiffin. The OC comes back to coach. That whole situation is crazy, by the way, if you guys didn't hear about it. Lane Kiffin wanted to coach in the playoff. The players voted in favor of him coaching. The staff wanted it, but the AD said no. But I don't think not having Lane Kiffin's going to really do much in this matchup. I'd love to see Tulane do something. I think it's going to be a lot better of a game than it was in the beginning of the season, but this one will be an Ole Miss win, and they will move on to the Sugar Bowl. Now, last pick here for the first round is Oregon and James Madison, arguably the funniest rollout, I guess you could say, to a game. The funniest build-up for a game. There you go. With JMU Twitter just being absolutely hilarious about Oregon and everything, but in the real world, JMU really doesn't have a chance in this game. I would love to see JMU win this game. I think it's very slim that they're gonna have to go out there and disrupt so many aspects of the game on every single down, and so I think a team like JMU is a team to be able to do something like that, but they honestly aren't the team that should rightfully be in the playoff. They did win their conference, so yes, they should be rightfully in the playoff in that aspect. But are they the 12th best team in the country that should be competing for a national title? No, but that also brings up my argument that I did in my prior videos. You want to be in the playoff, join a conference, cough, cough, Notre Dame. JMU deserves to be here because of that. And the ACC also had a terrible conference champ, but Oregon's just a much better team, and it's not going to be a game. So I'm going to pick Oregon here to win. So we've got Oregon, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Miami winning in the first round. And now we're going to pick our next game, which I believe it is a 3-1 again. It's going to be Miami and Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in Jerry World. Both these teams, this is a fun matchup, if I'm going to be honest. I got to say, it will be a really fun matchup. I think Miami, as I said in the A&M game, why they're going to win that one, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a surprisingly good team, Miami will be. So, however, I think Ohio State's team is just elite. That defense is unbelievable. I mean, you lost your game against Indiana in the Big Ten Championship. You only gave up 13 points. That defense is insane. And I don't care that they really didn't play very many people in the Big Ten through the regular season. Miami played in the ACC. And I don't think their offense is going to be able to really put too much of a dent into Ohio State's defense. So I've got Ohio State moving on to the semifinals play in the Fiesta Bowl. Now, next game, the Orange Bowl. Oregon, Texas Tech. This is, in my opinion, going to be the most interesting matchup. Oregon, I think people probably will have favored in this game, but I think people are underrating how good this Texas Tech defense really is. This Texas Tech defense with stars like David Bailey, Jacob Rodriguez, of course, Romello Height. I love this defense. And just because they're in the Big 12 doesn't mean that they're not a legit defense. The Big 12's got some good teams in there, and I think they've got great offenses. You look at some of the stats on the season, a lot of Big 12 teams are near the top when it comes to yards, and Texas Tech was one of the best defenses in the country against those teams. And so I think you can't treat them lightly. I like their offense. I like Baron Morton. And so Oregon's a great school, great team. I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done against that elite of a defense. Give me Texas Tech to move on to the Peach Bowl into the semis. Now, who's going to be meeting Texas Tech in the Peach Bowl? I can tell you right now, I'm not going to say very much about this matchup. I think Alabama's really good. I think Indiana's really good. I think Alabama's going to get a close win against Oklahoma, but I don't think they're going to beat Indiana. I think Indiana is a different type of beast in this year's playoff. I mean, what an excellent job Cignetti has done for this team, and I just hats off to him, hats off to the program. It's an excellent school, and man, they've really turned around Indiana football because I have them going and beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl and heading to the semifinals. Now, this might shape out a little boring, folks, because I currently have the 1, 4, and 2, the 4 bye teams making it. And there is the thing with last year, all 4 teams on bye actually lost their games. You know, Georgia lost, Boise State lost, Oregon lost, and Arizona State all lost in the quarterfinal after a bye. I mean, it is a month without playing football, and I still don't. I just think these teams are so good that I don't expect it to happen again. I don't expect it to happen. I think these teams are so good. They've got great coaches, and I don't see a team like Ole Miss going and beating Georgia. I don't see a team like Miami beating Ohio State. I don't see Alabama beating Indiana. The only one I could probably see is Oregon going and riding off of a high after beating James Madison by probably could be a lot, and going and using that momentum to beat Texas Tech. But with that being said, if you didn't hear me, I'm going to pick Georgia. I think that team is arguably the most complete team in the country. I mean, Coach Kirby Smart, he always does it every year. Gunnar Stockton's looked amazing for Georgia, and that team's it's elite. You saw what they did against Alabama. They've embarrassed that team, so I have to put them into the semis. And then with that, I'm even going to move them up already. I'm going to put them into the national championship. This is going to be my toughest pick. I have Georgia going to the national championship over Ohio State just because when it comes to star power versus star power, Ohio State's got a very, very good team. Georgia's got a very, very good team. I think Ohio State might have a slight edge on defense. Georgia's got the edge on offense, but I like Georgia's team just a little bit more as a whole compared to Ohio State's. And that Georgia team they're so good, man. I hate to be boring, and put Georgia in here and be like, oh, it's Georgia. It's Georgia. But that's just what it is. They're Georgia. They recruit. They do great job. They have great coaching, great performance on the field. It's an elite team. And I've got Georgia in my national championship. Now, Texas Tech and Indiana. Once again, I love that defense from Texas Tech. But you know who else's defense I really love and who has one of the best offenses in the country? It's Indiana. I think Indiana has really proved themselves with that Ohio State win, and I think that that's going to be something that really shows in this playoff that they can beat the best of the best. They can go out there and they can beat top teams. And as much as I love to see like a Texas Tech run or a Oregon run or something like that, it'd be cool. Indiana is going to be a hard team to get by in those quarter and semifinals, and they're going to the national championship. So Indiana, Georgia is going to be my national championship in Miami, Florida. And when it comes down to who is going to hoist the trophy, the national championship trophy, it's going to be a team winning their third college football playoff since the start of it in 2014-15. It's going to be Georgia. I think Georgia really does have the best squad. And I think that it is really the best team when it comes to offense, defense, this, that, in the third. They are an excellent squad. They're excellent team. Indiana's great. I love Coach Cignetti, as I said, with the Alabama game. But I have Georgia. I can't look at that Georgia team and see what they've done all year and say that's not a good team. Because when they get tested, they've gotten tested before. They just put teams in the dirt. And when it's a defensive battle, you don't want to get into a defensive battle with a team like that. They'll put you in the dirt still. And so as much as I'd love to see Indiana win the national championship this year, I think this year is for Georgia. And Kirby Smart gets himself a third national championship. So that's going to be my college football playoff bracket. To run it through, Oregon over JMU, Alabama over Oklahoma, Ole Miss over Tulane, and Miami over A&M, and then Ohio State over Miami, Georgia over Ole Miss, Indiana over Alabama, Texas Tech over Oregon, and then Indiana over Texas Tech, and Georgia over Ohio State, with Georgia winning the national championship. Now, I would love for you guys to tell me, what do you think about the playoffs this year? Who do you have winning your playoff bracket? We've got exciting matchups coming up just in a couple of hours, so tune into that. That'll be fun to watch. We'll make some videos about it as the playoff goes through, goes by. And once January 19th hits, we're going to be watching, seeing if I was correct, if Indiana and Georgia are in the championship, and they are playing in the championship. But we'll have to wait and see. But that'll be all for today. If you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate it if you just hit the like button. And, leave a comment down below, like I said, about who you think is going to win the national championship. And once again, you enjoyed the content, I'd love for you to just hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Or end of next year, excuse me. End of the year would be pretty insane. I did 500 subscribers in like 2 weeks, but that's going to be it for me today, and I hope you all have a great day, and peace out.